Well, hello, good people and Eagle fans. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Man, I got to go down to take care of some stuff. Got a sewer backup. Figures I got to be dealing with some shit. And unfortunately, I got my truck back yesterday. And it's still doing what it's doing. So I had to take that sucker back, and now I got to figure out another way to do it. Maybe I have to rent a pickup truck or something to get things done while I'm down here. But you know what? You got to be able to be like a Marine, where you can adapt and overcome situations, where you can do things on the fly. Jerry. Cooper Rush and actually Trey Lance have actually proved a theory for me. Okay, and I don't think you guys understand it, because everybody is like, well, we need to get another quarterback. Okay, we just need to get another quarterback because Cooper Rush sucks. Trey Lance sucks because Cooper Rush literally threw for 3.5 yards per pass play in that game. And I know what y'all say. Well, Cooper Rush just sucks. And then Trey Lance, I think he got 19 yards passing. And see, you don't understand how that works or the reason why that was. As much as I don't like to give any love to Dan Urlowski, he was 100% right when he said no team basically makes it harder on their quarterback than anywhere else. Take a look at Trey Lance's numbers when he's played when he was with San Francisco. San Francisco with the better offensive line. San Francisco with the multiple weapons, George Kittle, having Deebo Samuels, Brandon Ayuk. You can look at it and say, he played better with that situation. Well, let's look back to when Cooper Rush took over for those 5 games. You can look at it and say, our running game was better because we had Tony Pollard and a younger Zeke Elliott. Right? The running game was stout. We could actually do some things. You could look at it and say the offensive line was actually better at that point than having the 2 rookies that have been playing. You could look at the weapons and say he had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz. So you can look at that and say you had better personnel around Cooper Rush right now. And Cooper Rush, he wasn't Pat Mahomes or anything like that, but he was a capable NFL quarterback. Fast forward to now, and you look at this and say, you don't have the running game, although we were running the ball better this week, that Rico, quietly Rico has become running back number 1 and is actually playing better than what you thought he was going to. Now, I know I insulted Zeke's dad, my apologies and all that, but at this point, when the Cowboys hamstrung themselves, let's be clear here, they hamstrung themselves. You had Rico, who was heating up, getting into a groove, and they had to go back to Zeke Elliott to go ahead and say, we haven't forgot about you, after making up from the reason that you suspended him the week before, and you get the fumble in the end zone. You look at it from the standpoint of Cooper Rush was ready to actually make a really good pay. The pass wasn't a bad pass, but unfortunately, because Jerry Jones is too stubborn to actually close the curtains because he wants the aesthetics, cost the team 7 points. We have to settle for a field goal. That there's not enough margin for error. Now, I got an email from, I guess he's a Jaguar fan. Okay, I'm not putting his name out there. I kind of threw him under the bus last week with this whole thing about, he was defending the Prince, Trevor Lawrence, down in Jacksonville. See, you're taking it that I'm slamming Trevor Lawrence. I'm not slamming Trevor Lawrence. I'm pointing out that things are different. Okay? His take to come back to me is, well, Dak Prescott has always had all these incredible weapons. He had Dez Bryant. Let's pump the brakes on Dez Bryant being an ultimate weapon. 2014 Dez Bryant, great weapon. 2015 is when the injury started. 2016 and 17, those last 2 years, Des Bryant was not the same guy. And I will say, those couple of years that Des was with Dak Prescott, he had the highest yards per completion of his career, 14.9 yards. That was almost a full yard better than any year he had with Tony Romo. Look it up. And yes, he did have Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb for 1 year when CeeDee was a rookie. I'll give you that one. But the next year, it was CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of guys. Michael Gallup on one leg. And you have to look at this and say, at some point you have to actually look at this and say, is it great talent around Dak? Or is Dak Prescott making the talent look great? Does that make sense, Trey?
Mm-hmm.
You're not even listening.
Is there great talent around Dak, or is Dak making the talent look great?
Right. So if your thing is CeeDee Lamb is making the plays by himself, right? That Dak's got nothing to do with it. Well, last year, he broke all the records, Cowboys receiving records, single season. More yards than Michael Irvin had in a single season, and touchdown receptions. Was CeeDee Lamb throwing the ball to himself? Because that's the same guy who, this past week, elite wide receiver, had 19 yards. Same guy, same elite receiver, different quarterback, who was in the same situations that Dak Prescott was in, could only get the ball to CeeDee Lamb 3 times for 19 yards. So, when I look at a guy like Allen Hurns, who, after he left Dallas, is out of the league, when I look at Michael Gallup coming back from injury, where in 2 years, after signing his big contract, had 850 yards, Cowboys release him, he retires. When you look at a guy like Randall Cobb, who was averaging about 400 yards a year, comes to the Cowboys and has an 800-yard season and is then able to sign a $25 million contract with the Texans, it seems like, and then goes back to 400 yards and goes to Aaron Rodgers and goes back to 400 yards. It seems like Dak Prescott has elevated the people around him, the thing they say a franchise quarterback must do. But unfortunately, the problem is you can only elevate so far. What the team is asking Dak Prescott to do without having a running game, and mind you guys, we are second worst in the NFL. Only the Raiders right now have a worse running game than the Dallas Cowboys. You don't have a running game. You have an offensive line that's in shambles. Zach Martin is dealing with nagging injuries that he's now getting bent backwards. Terrence Steele has been abysmal. Tyler Guyton, your rookie number 1 pick, meh. Asim Richards played better this week in replacing him. So you don't have an offensive line. And as much as we want to say great weapons, you got CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Tolbert is still not quite a number 2. Jalen Brooks, Ryan Fauntleroy, however you want to pronounce it. Those aren't NFL starting caliber receivers. That's not like having Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. That's elite. That's an elite collection. That's not like having, George Kittle and Deebo Samuels and Ayuk, although Ayuk is out right now, but they get Christian McCaffrey back. This whole myth of Cowboys always having great weapons, it's not really there. Yes, if you say, well, you had Jason Witten and Des Bryant and Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, yeah, but did you have them at their peak? And did you have them all at the same time? Terrence Williams, Allen Hurns, Noah Brown. They're not Jalen Tolbert. Dalton Schultz. These are not elite players. These aren't. These aren't even Pro Bowl caliber players that we're talking about now. But I know the haters will say, Dak Prescott, he just sucked, man. We can't win anything with that guy because he stinks. Yeah, well, bring in somebody else to see how good they do if we don't change all this other stuff right here. Sending prayers to Dak for surgery in the morning. Hopefully it comes out well. Alrighty, good people. I'm on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. I'm on the road with my baby. You know how much I love that. Lloyd says that's my chicken run face.